Welcome back to the Women's Counter-Strike tournament here at Gamers Without Borders. We are underway and our second quarterfinal is very closely, and it was just around the corner. Please welcome back our expert analysts as well. We have Miss Harvey and Sapphire joining me in the studio. I mean, we've just watched that big Equipa video with Ida talking through their methodical approach to the way that they handle training and all that stuff. What are your thoughts going into this next match up against Ninjas in Pyjamas? Sapphire, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, obviously these players, they know how to train. They do it the right way. We've seen their progression over many, many years now. They've stuck with this roster. And then on the other side of the matchup, we've got NIP, a roster that has gone through a rebuild coming into this last ESL Impact season, but they've got some really exciting star players and players like Astra.
Well, we've got that big roster change as well, possibly the difference maker, let's say. Steph, what do you think about the introduction of Josie into this big Equipa team?
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting add-on. It's not often you see international players from across the world going to Europe. It's usually the opposite. So very excited to see how she's going to do into that team. But one thing to know, little birds are telling, oh, I am muted. I did it again. It's hard. I've been talking to myself for the last minute. I'm very sorry. But yeah, let's take a look at Josie. It was good. It's give some time for graphics to be ready. But yeah, it's not often you see a player coming from internationally going to Europe. It's usually the opposite of the moment because Europe is so strong. So to have Josie taking on this big challenge and coming into Europe is huge. She was phenomenal on MIBR, and she hopefully will also do big plays on big. The only issue, a little bird told us that she might be playing from Brazil today. So that might be a little bit of a problem because, as you know, Brazil isn't the closest place from Europe.
Oh dear, we might be having some ping issues, but I mean, we'll just have to see how she copes with that in the match. But you know, I think that Sapphire, are there any individual players? We've already touched on bigger keeper, so what about any individual players that our viewers should be looking out for from NIP in particular?
Yeah, I think, you know, I mentioned Astra as this very, very interesting player. This is a player that started when NIP got into ESL Impact, and then she's helped rebuild this roster. And if you look at the stats from the season, like, every single category, Astra is up there. She's a playmaker and makes the other players around her better as well. So definitely one to look out for. But even the newer players, Naomi, Kiara, have come in and made quite the impact and really challenged for a spot at LAN. They didn't make it there yet, but like the pieces are building to make that happen in the future.
Well, we know that NIP have the ability to topple giants because they defeated Enigma Galaxy earlier in the season and ESL Impact, who are the top seed coming into this competition. So at face value, because Big managed to topple NIP earlier as well in the season, it kind of feels like this match is extremely even coming into Gamers Without Borders. Steph, would you agree?
Yeah, I would like to totally agree with that. It seems it can go either way. We're in a bit of two different situations here where we're kind of on a honeymoon phase on NIP, still trying to figure out our play style. We have superstars coming in and just figuring out what we're about, but still winning, doing great with it. And on Big Equipa, it's kind of more the opposite. Our honeymoon phase was a long time ago, and we're kind of rebuilding because there's always a crash after the honeymoon. So it's always difficult right after. So you got to rebuild, and I think we're in the ascension here where they're starting to gel, especially with the additions of Josie. I can't really wait to see what's the peak for Big.
Well, speaking of players, we had the ability to catch up with NIP's Paulie earlier this week, and here's what she had to say.
On our team, who does the roles, the twins, are most of the time the entry in the team. Me and Asta are the support, but it's like changing between me and Yannicka, the support, a lot. And Asta, she's the agile. So yeah, sometimes we're switching roles, and between the entry and the support, it's like between what we are deciding before the game and like when we are warm-upping and thinking what we're gonna do. It's my first team, and it's really fine and really good to play the team. I really like it. and I think the vibes are good, but the vibes can always be better, so it will be better. I think the reason that we could beat Enigma Galaxy, it's like because we train a lot before and don't come like with the feelings that we don't gonna win because no one wins and something like that. We just came and play. So the team that I would most like to play this tournament, it's Navi, Javelins. We played against them in the Cash Cup yesterday, but we lost, unfortunately. But I really like to play against them.
In the side, she steals the back up into ramp, and now Tori will help with those players in connector, but Kiara got 2 and still keeps that player advantage.
Regarding my confidence, I think we're gonna do our best and yeah, see what happens. The opportunity to raise money on Gamers Without Borders, I think it's really nice that there is a tournament like that we can raise money for organizations that need it and help people that need it and do what we can do and help people.
I love these segments. It gives us an opportunity to peek behind the curtain into the lives of these players and kind of shows us their attitude as well. You know what? It really is great, and it may sound obvious to say, but you know, mechanics and map awareness, etc., you know, they're clearly vital. That's a given. But I feel like team synergy, the team dynamic, that's what separates the good from the great teams. Do you agree, Sapphire? I've kind of put you on the spot there, but do you agree?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's true though. Like I feel like I've lived and breathed that. There's just something special. Like you know, you don't necessarily have to have the absolute best players in the world to win. We've seen that time and again for decades now in Counter-Strike. A lot of it comes down to synergy, chemistry, just kind of how you're vibing with the team on that day, how you're reading your teammates. That can sometimes prove to be more successful than just having the 5 best raw individual players.
Steph, we've already touched on the reformed NIP because they had that post-Season 2 rebuild. How's that been clicking so far? I mean, regarding ESL Impact, it seems like they're doing pretty well.
Yeah, they definitely are. And I think, you know, it's not like they changed 1 player or 2 players. You still need to kind of rebuild if you change 2 players, because that's enough to mess up all your bomb sites. But, excuse me, they change 3, right? And 3 for me is where it gets really critical. It's where, I mean, that's a completely new team. You can't even rely on what happened here and there and depth of the strategies. So for me, they're a brand new team, like a G2 brand new team. So for them to have that much success right out of the gate, it just shows that something is clicking between these players. And you've talked and mentioned how it's not just about having the best players, but it does help when we have an Astra dropping bombs versus tough teams.
Well, it does indeed. And I'm actually going to come to you, Sapphire, now, because it is time for our vetoes and our picks for this particular map going into, or this particular series, sorry, going into this. I want you to take us through these, you know, pick out any kind of surprises along the way.
Yeah, I mean, no surprises, actually. You know, we see that Nip is taking out Nuke. No surprises there. Mirage, Big doesn't really play this, but also at the same time, it's kind of a counter for Nip because Nip plays that really, really well. And then we've got Nip taking Inferno here, which Nip recently, like, dominated. Navi in a cash cup on that map. As we head over to Vertigo, this is a map that Big did really well on against Nip in ESL Impact. And then we've got Overpass, where Big took the win last time against Nip, 16-7. So that's a bit interesting that is left open. Who knows? If you look at this map pool, you say, all right, this is what Big won on last time. Can we get there? You know, it's really going to come obviously down to Vertigo.
We've already spoken about how almost a flip of a coin, how 50-50 this match is coming into it. We seem a bit unsure. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to come to you, Steph, first. What's your prediction for this match?
Ooh, this is a really tough one. I do definitely think it's going to go into 3 maps. So if you're planning to go to bed early, Europeans or Asians, you are staying on because I do think it might be a 3rd map. And I think that Big is actually leaving the door open for Nip to potentially win it by picking Vertigo. Like, it's a little bit of a risk instead of trying to close this in a 2-0 on Overpass. But I'm still going to go with Big just because of the depth of the experience we saw in the first matchup. How important it was today.
Ooh, okay. What about yourself, Sapphire, before we dive into this first match?
This is a tough one. I keep going back and forth. You know, I have a bit of like a bias for Big, just knowing how good those players are and having to watch them for many years, having played against them. You know, I'm going to make this interesting. I'm going to say Nip here. I like the new roster that they developed. You know, I think you learn a little more when you lose than when you win. So maybe they can turn around that loss in this series.
I like this dynamic because now you can just go against each other in every single, like, in between each map, you guys can go butt heads. I'm liking this. Right, that is enough from us. It's time to hand the floor over to 2 new but also familiar faces. It's time to introduce our casters to Gamers Without Borders. It is, of course, Lucy and B-Dog. Take us into map 1.
Thank you, Agent Banks. We're very excited to jump into this one. We're here from the future, in the present, about to cast a very exciting matchup. Brandon, are you excited?
Yeah, I can't wait to be here. Of course, we've just kind of stepped out of the Matrix for a moment, and we're here with this fantastic best of 3, Lucy. Let's kind of get a little bit serious with this now, because, look, it's a big matchup, quite literally as well, because you've got the rematch. It was Big Equipa that beat NIP, that prevented them from even having a playoff spot at ESL Impact Season 3. So there's a lot on the line here. It's going to be quite spicy, and the veto, it definitely caught our attention. And I know we were talking a little bit before the game, and you were saying, oh, Big picking Vertigo in towards NIP, but they had a really solid game plan a couple of weeks ago. It looked so dynamic from Big. The reactions and the variations they were throwing in, especially on that CT side, was just too much for Nip to handle.
Yeah, Big have been really impressive on Vertigo, a map that NIP have made their home on. And I think Inferno, obviously really great to see that coming out after that map against Na'Vi Javelins, as mentioned in the pregame there, just how dominant that was. What, 16-1? Just outrageous against a team of the caliber of Na'Vi Javelins. That's a massive confidence boost coming into this matchup. And I think a better choice than Overpass, because they didn't have a good time on Overpass. So Inferno, the first map we're going to be kicking off on. Who do you think's taking this one, Brandon?
I do think NIP are actually going to take this map and probably the series overall. I just feel like they've got revenge on their mind here, especially against NIP. The fact that it was 16-1 against Na'Vi Javelins, although they didn't win the series, they're showing real promise. Inferno, it's a map that is required so much heavily on fundamentals. NIP, we're seeing it week on week, the improvement. Their structure looks really formidable, and so it's a pretty decent pick for them.
And I think I've only seen Big play it once during this last season of ESL Impact against Enigma Galaxy, where they lost that one, unfortunately, as you often do against Enigma Galaxy on Inferno. So they are looking a little bit shakier on that map. It's not one that's often in their series. So I think it's definitely going to be a good one for NIP to be starting out on. And Astra has just been phenomenal on this map. I mean, for this team generally, for the entire last season, has been insane. So I'm expecting some big things from her.
Yeah, and Naomi, her individual performance over the past couple of weeks or so has really elevated, and that just brings up the entire skill, like, floor of this team, because we know the ceiling is incredibly high, but when every single player can rise to a consistent level, that's where things become dangerous for Big Equipa. But on the flip side, look, we've got to reflect on Big Equipa, because they were the team that beat NIP a couple of weeks ago. Josie played on 200 ping, as Steph mentioned. Like, is that going to be a factor? Well, honestly, yeah, it really is. It's going to be a really terrifying prospect for Big Equipa. But look, they've got Zana, 3rd highest rated player at ESL Impact overall in Season 3. You've got D7, who's really been up in her game. It's exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited to jump into it. We're getting into Inferno, our first map of this best of 3 between Big Equipa and NIP, the revenge map from ESL Impact. Let's see what Big have to show us this time around. We've got the Duberettas out on Zana. And we have a very slow progress over towards B early from the CTs, but not going to be an issue at the moment. D7 gets a little bit of information down towards second mid, but NIP, they've been given banana for free.
No, you haven't. There isn't really a smoke to defend this either. You got to rely on Jenny placing a pretty decent grenade. You got Ida that can flash on contact at the very least, and thankfully, Josie is rotating. Execute starts to come in. Here we go.
No, Ida gets one shot off, but forced on back. Jenny's smoked off currently, so they're allowed free access into the bomb site. Nothing really stopping them at all here. The bullet's going on through. That's a nice HE, sorry. Does take a lot of HP out. And then the bullets come through from Jenny R to finish the job. So first kill does go the way of Bigger Keeper. Boost comes through, not spotting anything just yet. And it's actually still going to be difficult. They're all coming from the same positions on the big side.
Yeah, look at this crossfire as well. So difficult to break on the site, and then you got the extra element of banana. As you mentioned, Lucy, it looks very narrow-minded. Everyone in at once, and here we go. All the kills churned up in a matter of moments. NIP, what a way to kick things off.
Yeah, I mean, what can you even say about that? That's crazy. 4 of them there, ready to pounce as soon as Bigger Keeper give any sort of sign of flesh. And, well, heads are rolling after that one. Get to see it back again, but it was over before it even really got to begin.
Yeah, that's really good. We're talking about fundamentals. It's these afterplants. NIP are so strong when they get the ball rolling, and they find the opening kill as well. You try and unstitch those crossfires. It can be a very difficult task. A little bit of a stack coming in. Of course, Big, they've gone for the eco. They want to bring the rifles out ASAP, which gives a lot of leverage for Astra, Jenkin, and Paulie to make some cash on the MAC-10s.
Yeah, got to get them Mackie 10s in the faces of Bigger Keeper. It's a good start. Looking for a follow-up as well. Reaping the reward of these eco frags. And still 3 more to find. It's like looking for Wally, but there's 3 Wallies, and every time you kill Wally, he gives you money. So it's not really anything like Where's Wally? When you think about it.
No.
Not one that you should be letting kids play at any rate. But okay, well, they do lose 1 player, and that bomb is actually kind of isolated from everybody else at the moment. Naomi has to be careful here. She drops this bomb, it gets a little bit spooky. You can see already she's a little bit worried. And, oh, she's been down. Oh, no, not like this. Okay, she's able to recover 1, 2, 3. Naomi, that is huge.
Yeah, it might be triple Wally, but it's just all dubs in the chat for Naomi. That's insane on the Galil. What a recovery in towards second mid. She was so isolated. That round could have gone really out of hand. But as we take a look back at this replay, I mean, the round should always be in NIP's favor. The fact that it's just a little cherry on top, the sparkling of Naomi adding and showing off her individual capabilities. Kind of highlights our points that we were making before we jumped into the map. But for all the marbles already, Lucy, round number 3, pretty decent buy out the gate for Bigger Keeper. They're ready to try and stake their claim here on Inferno.
Yeah, and what we just saw that last round, that's a small mistake you can't be making if you're NIP. Obviously, Naomi recovers it with that fantastic spray control. She finds all 3, but, you know, if she goes down there, she'd already been dinked on through. Suddenly that bomb's out in the open, you picked up a Galil, and it's a 3v3 potentially, so small little details that you can't afford to be making those mistakes against teams of this caliber, because Big will capitalize.
It's the little teething issues we're seeing during the newest iteration of this roster. Still need time to gel, work as a well-oiled machine, rather than one that just keeps stopping and starting. And with 1 minute left on the clock, they've established control in top banana. Now they're looking for top brackets, but look at this stack out of Bigger Keeper. Everyone, bar Josie, is here, and Zana wants to get pushing. Shoulder spotted. Nades, they're caught completely off guard. Kiara will at least find a double, but it's a 3 versus 3.
Ooh, she finds a 3rd as well. Ida goes down. D7 in the pit, the only surviving member. She can use the smoke to her advantage. That rotation is coming on through, but she's under pressure. NIP know they have to deal with her first, and they line up for D7. Takes them both down, and Big with the stack come on through.
Yeah, I mean, that's really well played from Bigger Keeper. This is something you're going to see a lot out of CT side teams on Inferno. These gambles more over to one side of the map than the other. But just when you think Kiara is snapping next, left, right, center, it's D7 in the pit, the unknown element, and she has got a lot of weight on her shoulders, and yet under the pressure, the most experienced player on the server so far has really come into her element. When Bigger Keeper need her most early into the game, D7's there.
You love to see it. You also love to see this aggression. When you got 200 ping, hold W. That's the answer. Go for those 200 millisecond peaks.
You can see it kind of like wobbling as we're watching her.
Yeah, exactly. Well, once again, going to be testing into short, and D7 is going to be answering with the kill. Zana now stepping up for her chance. Does get one, falls on back. A lot of damage done onto Naomi as well. So this round not going too greatly, and oh my god, felt like Paulie should have had that kill dead to rights, but D7, one of the sharpest headshotters out there, makes short work of her. So now, if I'm NIP, and I've seen Juicy tweet that she's got 200 ping, I'm going to punish her. Pro tip to NIP, if you're watching, do that.
They're not watching.
They watch back and they're like, wow, how did we lose this? They'll hear this moment where I told them to punish Josie and they'll be like, oh yeah, we should have done that.
Hi NIP in the future. It's B-Dog from the past. Go B. Yeah, I think what's interesting is you see the reaction literally from round to round. It's bigger keepers start pushing top brackets last round, catch NIP out of utility. What's the play here for NIP? Well, okay, we know they did that, so let's just play contact. Let's hold our guns out instead so we don't get caught off guard. But then they just swing, and there's a lot of overstepping. There's too much over-facing, which allows D7 and Zana to get these easy kills where they're on the elevated angles. They're walking straight into the crosshairs, and it just feels very difficult. So although we are seeing the immediate reaction, and that's something that we do look for teams trying to improve on mid-game, that was kind of a little bit too far the other way, in my opinion.
There's D7 getting that kill. All right, it's a little bit of an Orky Momo for NIP because obviously they saved 2 AKs on that T side. Everyone had 2K for that lost bonus, so they've had to force around it. One Tech 9 could get dropped over, so at least that's something to allow some utility to come through. It does mean they are working with pistols on 3 players, which is never ideal. Jenny R this time, the one getting up into Banana. I think that's one of the cool things about Big is this kind of Jenny R, Josie double duo of like just 2 players that are not afraid to take fights.
Well, NIP, it looked like they really wanted to go in towards short there, but that one incendiary, it completely cancels the plan. Now we go into page number 17 of the strat book. Doesn't work out top bracket, so let's try Banana. Yet again, it is just Josie here. Tell you what, a lot of responsibility being given to her despite the internet issues that we obviously keep highlighting. The fact that they do trust her just says a lot about the chemistry and the cohesion in the team. And look at this from D7. NIP are going to have no idea about this.
Yeah, she's going to get the first one easy, tap away, and now she can just chill out here. Okay, maybe she can just kill some more. Why not? Jenny R going to be getting one as they push through the smoke. Josie here tucked into the corner. All the reactions, you can see it right there. That's that ping. But there is Ida to finish the job anyway with a double. So Big have no issues against the 2 rifles around the pistols.
Yeah, a little bit more expected, that one for Bigger Keeper, for it to be going their way. But this is what they did last time out against NIP. It was consistent variations, especially on the CT side. And it's the mid-round aggressive playstyles, even through middle. That's what we saw when these 2 teams last faced off against each other, and it caught NIP off guard. I would have assumed they would have been a little bit more prepped for it, but it's just the timing that Bigger Keeper are deciding to elect to push in. It's so sensible. It's when they've got all the information, when they feel like it's the safest point to do so, and it is just working round after round.
Now, Brandon, we've just got some pistols here, so I want to take this moment, because they're probably just going to eaten up here, unless something crazy happens. You casted the last time these 2 teams met up in that matchup where Big took it away. In fact, actually, hold up. This isn't the right time for the question.
No, it's fine.
Okay,
it's fine.
they get mowed down. Yeah, tell me what happened in that series. Just give us the quick recap.
So it was basically Ida, Jenny R being really aggressive on T side. They were kind of taking every single fight that presented themselves to Bigger Keeper. They were really applying equal amounts of pressure on both sides of the map, which is something you can really do on Vertigo, but not really so much on Inferno. But anyway, they were being really aggressive, and then it was Ida especially on CT sides and D7, that were just being such nuisances. And it's just the consistent pushing, especially in the mid rounds. NIP, they want to get set up. They're like, okay, we've got control. Let's try and take, and then they get shut down. Here in this one, you've got a banana take. Josie jump spots, gathers information, potentially not one, but two. That allows Zana just to post.
Oh, she spotted one. You gonna jump peek that again? No, absolutely not. And that's the right call. G7, has she spotted Kiara crossing here? I feel like there might have been a timing here where she's managed to slip through. Oh my God, that's so sharp from Kiara. And now D7's a little bit worried because, oh my God, Kiara just keeps on going. Jenny R almost caught off guard, and now she's under pressure. D7's been holding shift the whole time, wants to arrive and help her teammate out, and well, she's going to do just that. Jenny R gets that second on the fall down, but D7 is keeping things under control. You thought Kiara was sharp, well, D7, she's got that whetstone out, and her blade is completely pristine, glistening with the blood of her opponents. Jenkin has a difficult 1v3 to pull off here. Bomb collected. With such little health and so many players to get past. And, well, that's a nice shot onto D7 and a second one onto Jenny R. Suddenly, we're cooking. A 1v1 now presents itself. She can hear Josie. Josie's got so much ping right now. And Jenkin, oh, she can't quite control it. Had to be the headshot with such little HP. Josie able to clutch it out.
What an insane round. Just we get to see a pure showcase of just mechanical brilliance from both sides of the server. Firstly, we've got Kiara just snapping heads from Ida. Jenkin finds a little bit of success in towards Banana, and we'll get back to her in a minute, because what's so impressive is Ida staying alive for so long to allow this flank of D7 to even become a possibility. And yeah, you think the round's over? Hang on a second. No, it's really not. Jenkin versus Josie. It comes down to the 1 versus 1, and just enough HP to lock in the headshot. Big Equipa starting to build a little bit of a buffer between themselves and NIP.
Yeah, it's a bit of a crazy round. A lot of chaos being sown on both sides, and while Josie's going for the aggressive peak, but yeah, it's a tough one to be taking when you've obviously, I mean, I feel like I've over-mentioned it now, but
I think so.
It's such a key thing, right? It's always going to be tough going for those aggressive peaks like that. You have to flick quickly. D7 has been very curious in the apartments, and while curiosity, we know what it did to the cat, and it does just that to D7.
Oh, good flash as well. Jenkin removed, and that's all the control relinquished off Banana for NIPs. They feel like they're going to force their hand and try and attempt to go in towards A. Zana, again, the incendiary is always well timed, but it doesn't actually split up the attack. Paulie delivers a devastating headshot, and if you're Jenny R and Ida, the money, whilst it is built up for Ida, not so much so on the other members of the team. Got to get out of there, concede the round.
Yeah, I think the incendiary was just like a little bit too late, actually, like in terms of they were already on top of it when it landed. So, of course, they're going to commit. Got the player coming out apps at the same time. And Zana had too much on her plate to deal with at that moment. And that was Josie going down to Banana earlier, requiring that extra rotation over towards B. NIP acknowledged that. And then they put the pressure on towards A as soon as D7 goes down. So well executed, well handled, and a nice third round.
Yeah, really nicely done from NIP. I like the decision making. Again, we're talking about reactions. The flash play comes in at B, Jenkin gets removed, but NIP, they don't just kind of sit back, wait for the next play to come to them. They take the initiative. It's everyone moving as a unit. It's pack mentality, which results in good trade spacing. And Big Equipa this time do get overwhelmed. The crossfire just doesn't really help out, and that's what we're looking for. The instantaneous reactions and the speed of them. Nice little boost up in the corner to prevent all of the damage and making sure you keep all of the weapons.
Well, they get another shot now with those save players. They have everything they need. And again, it's pace towards B. And Jenkin's been given all this space for free. There's no contestation from Big through that initial barrage, but then let NIP take control. And this setup they've got, which is not uncommon with the AWP there, there's a huge timer on this because you don't have a player out towards long. So they have to dismantle it. And Josie's taking the initiative, doesn't quite connect with the head though. Jenny R does. So it's a 1-for-1 on Banana.
Yeah, normally there you have a second flash coming in to help out Josie, but Ida only had one. Zana removes herself from the balcony, positions herself on short, holding for Boiler, holding for NIP. And it feels like she might be successful as well, unless they start to creep past. They're going towards long instead, but hello. Jenny R's rotated in just in time, but only finds one kill.
All right, but Zana's still here. She knows they're coming from long. Spots one, drops the bomb, can reposition, but Naomi is so sharp with it. Another blistering headshot, and it puts Ida now in the clutch. 1 versus 2. Smoked off as well, makes it all the more difficult, but she does have that kit and has utility of her own. Oh, a secondary smoke lands in her face. It's actually a little bit off the mark. She's able to walk on through, spots out Naomi, she falls. Has to find this last player, and Paulie suspects the pits, but that is exactly when Paulie decides to strike. And NIP went out the clutch.
I think an interesting conversation point is the fact that our analysts, ourselves, we're getting really hyped about Astra and her phenomenal performance. Instead, it's the rest of NIP elevating their level while Astra's being a bit quiet. Think about how scarier this can potentially become if Astra starts to find form, especially on the CT side.
Yeah, I think that's where we're really looking towards Astra to step up, right? Given Inferno and the way AWPing works, it's so rare to see it have a lot of impact, except in post plants on the T side. They should be able to deal with this without too much issue.
Yeah.
Paulie just tucks on through. Kiara comes on, and yeah, no casualties. Bombs escaped. And Astra gets a kill. There you go. Well, it's a second, but now she's got the AWP out. She can get warmed up. Nice round to do it. Kiara hitting heads. 5 apiece now, all tied up.
Good timing on this pause. Spoke about it in the last series, the fact that G2 didn't really use any in their series. Now for Big, look, scoreline is level. You're about to dig deep into your pockets. Perfect time to take 30 seconds. Make sure you're all on the same page. What do you want to achieve with this round? Zana's on the AWP. Do you want to get her involved early, or she can play more of a passive line? Do we use utility to get her onto B? There's so many questions now flowing through Big Equipa's heads. This is why you take 30 seconds. You make sure that everyone is ready. Everyone's following from the same page. And get this one on lock. Let's see if these 30 seconds are going to result in a success.
They've just about got that AWP out. Ida had enough cash to get that one for Zana. Take it in towards mid. Astra, oh, the tag onto D7 on that cross. Lucky to be alive, jumped on over. Was just the leg where the bullet collided. She's put on notice early. This time around, Big have done a bit better of taking the banana control. The smoke goes very deep. They've got supportive utility to keep NIP at bay. They have to respect the smoke, have to wait it on out and retake banana, which has been something that they've been given a lot of these rounds.
Look at this, another layer. Really are keen to fight and show that they've got presence here. Josie's even going to run through the molly. Now, she has been doing this a lot, getting up close and personal. This flashbang should completely blind her, but it doesn't really. And Josie actually finds 2. A little bit delayed, but Naomi and Jenkin will hit the deck, and suddenly things get a little bit difficult. Astra will at least trade back. 3 on 4. Still the player advantage for Big Equipa, but there's only 45 seconds left.
Yeah, because all of this is taking place towards banana. NIP, their only control has been towards top mid, and look how many big players are here. Still have to deal with D7 as well, who has been an absolute menace in the pit. She's dropped a smoke ahead of time. Now she can just play around this position, has the support of Jenny R, and oh, actually, she starts to move on out. So D7 is going to be the only one here. They come on through. Oh, the HE blows her out of the server. Jenny R not able to find the kills. And well, there might have been 3 players here, but now it's just corpses. And Ida, she has to save.
Yeah, just like the HE's landing on pit, that whole defense was blown to smithereens. NIP, that was a really nice choreographed routine to conclude their final destination in round number 11. Yet again, what I'm really impressed with is just the... Obviously, they get a little bit fortunate with Zana worrying about B, so she starts to rotate, actually unscopes her AWP. But the trade space Gotta comment on it again. The fact that NIP, when they do enter the bomb site, there's no real opportunity for Big Equipa to find a multi-kill, and that has already tightened up as the half has progressed, and that's why we've seen them build back into this game.
Yeah, good stuff. And that was from a 3v5.
Yeah.
Obviously, Josie was in a super tough spot. Astra able to get that one, but yeah, just great entrance into the site. But unfortunate there. They were caught off guard. You can see Big were kind of partway through rotating. I think they kind of had a wrong read on the situation. Didn't want to leave a solo player over towards B for that long. And now, well, we got Josie with the Mag 7.
Nice.
Everyone's excited to see this. Oh, I'd say she spotted one, but she was full blind on that, and she still is. Tucked into the corner, Mag 7 ready to strike. All the utility running on over. The jump shot does not quite connect, or at least maybe it slightly grazes one, but that's all. Now she's taking a lot of utility damage. Forced on forward by a Molotov, and it's to her doom. Naomi and Kiara, it's twin frags for the twins, and Kiara adds another one. There's always one sibling that just wants to be a little bit better than the other. You can do it, I can do it better. Now, Jenny, well, what can you do? Probably save the M4. Nope.
Oh, no, you can't.
Probably not.
That is wild. And you're right. And it's, of course, just friendly competition, but it's like, it's interesting to have that kind of, we kind of can frame that as like a little bit of a face-off between Kiara and Naomi. And if they're trying to match each other and they're trying to best each other's efforts, I mean, that's only to Nip's kind of resolve and improvement, and that's to Big Equipa's detriment. Now we take a look at this buy, Lucy. I mean, it can come in, it's fine. There's going to be limited utility. You got to prioritize probably your weaponry, especially with Zana immediately going for this investment, but it was a limited utility that actually forced over the rotates in the previous round anyway, because if we cast our minds back, it was the re-aggression, the redeployment of the second wave of utility, the volley, that actually enabled Josie to get that second kill in the first place. They kind of denied and came back to bite Big Equipa in the late round because they were so worried. They had limited information, didn't have control over towards the balcony, as often they have been achieving with D7. So it's a tough decision to be making, and it's compromises that potentially need to be made here just to round out this first half.
Yeah, I guess knowing, I believe we've got a little bit of a tech, presumably. There's a lot of tippity-typeting happening in the chattity-wattity.
Clickety-clackety.
Clickety-clackety goes the keyboard. Yeah, so I guess in the rematch, NIP have started strong here, as we expected, right? I think we kind of are looking to NIP to comfortably probably take Inferno, just based on the past histories of these two teams. So we'll see what Big can muster up. Feels like I kind of want to get the last 3 rounds to really feel any sort of comfort when the side switch.
Definitely. The fact that it started 5-2 in favor of Big Equipa, and now NIP have won 5 in a row. Very momentum heavy. This series could be. Zana, that's a very important shot to be missing.
Hey, you don't see wish too many of those. Normally pretty quick on the trigger, but does happen. You miss every shot you don't take. But you should still try and hit a lot of them. Words of advice from Wayne Gretzky. Is that his name? Who knows? Oh, Josie spotted.
Oh. Imagine.
Imagine. Kiara, that smoke usually, it's going to force her forward. I love that, but I love that more. Zana, ready for the aggression, flicks onto the doorway filled with smoke and takes down Kiara. Now they start to hit onto B. Smoke deployed and they're through. Josie can't do anything to stop this. Maybe a little bit of spam if she wants to, waiting for the bomb to start get planted, but hasn't come through just yet. Paulie's going to bring it over now. Jenkins found Zana through the smoke. That one hurts. Josie can't quite connect.
Difficult retake. It's one of those where with limited utility, do you even want to give it a look in? You need D7 to rotate over. There are kits available. That's the important part here for Big, but the timer is nearly already halfway gone. Jenkins spots out a plethora of Big Equipa players, and she's just going to keep swinging. Goes 1 for 1, but now Paulie and Astra can come in for the crossfire, but hang on a second. We're in the 1 versus 1. Jenny R, no, gets nailed through the smoke, pinned against the coffin, and Astra, she's coming alive now. NIP looking deadly.
Oh, that's the worst position to be in with the AWP when the bomb is being defused and a smoke is in your face on top banana. You have one shot, one opportunity. She seizes it. She takes it. It's beautiful. We get that opener again.
Spaghetti.
Yeah, I mean, these AWPers, they don't need to see her to take you down. And it was such a good retake, you know, considering the lack of utility, right? They had that single smoke coming on through. They almost made it work. That was a wrap on that round. And we get a bit of pace, a bit of a beat into this one. Naomi found Ida elsewhere, but
yeah,
this one's going through here. What?
Oh, I thought you were going to like 8-bar the rest of the round.
No, well...
You were like, rap, beat on it. I was like, all right.
Yeah, I was just...
I was ad-libbing.
Yeah, it's just, you know...
Sheesh. Go on, Paulie. Pop off.
Sheesh. It's Paulie in the house. Let's go.
Was that a Corey in the house reference?
I don't know what that is. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, it's fine. That was a Disney Channel show when I was young.
Actually, it's really funny you say that because I was going to make a, you know, when we did the whole thing with our glasses and like,
yeah,
you know, and I was, you know, I said Agent Banks. I was going to say no relation to Cody, but I didn't know if that would land with everyone. Agent Cody Banks.
No.
No, see, that's why I didn't say it. But shout out to Agent Cody Banks fans out there. Oh, okay, that one's unfortunate for Zana. But another great shot from Kiara, and, well, her sister chimes in as well. Jenkins gets into the mix. Everybody is falling for Big at the moment. NIP on cruise control, but Jenny has something to say with a kill back, almost a second through the smoke. And maybe it might just be, you know, that HE not going to do the trick. And this is the last round of the half, so something heroic has to come on through. That flashbang might have been just it, but there was just too many players to deal with. Target selection, a difficult one in that moment. So it's all now on to D7, 1 versus 4. And saving the world here for her, looking like it's going to be incredibly difficult. No kit either. So chances nullified by Kiara's bullets. It's 10 rounds to the half for NIP.
Welcome back in, everyone. We're here just on the prefaces of the second half between Big, Equipa and NIP. And Lucy, I don't know about you, but I was so impressed with NIP. Like, you gotta think about their reactions, the timing of things, the little clues they were gathering all around the map, and the final destination they execute right at the very end was just immediate, and it was really impactful, and you can see by the scoreline.
Yeah, 8 rounds in a row at the tail end of that half to get them to that 10 next to their name at the top. And now they want to add an 11th, but will Big stop them? Let's see. Kiara, dual Berettas in hand. She has been absolutely phenomenal so far. How many can she find here? Ready for the contact to come on through. Jenny are about to tease as she's jiggling the corner. Not fully committed yet. There's a player playing anti-flash in the sandbags as well. NIP have a perfect setup, but the first play is deleted. That flashbang is good, but the trade is better. And so they break on through. Naomi out in the open, and she is dropped to the floor. What was a perfect setup from NIP falls to pieces.
That is wild. You do not expect it going that way, but maybe there's an opportunity for this retake. Astra Pauly galloping down Banana, trying to find heads, skulls to put up top of their mantelpiece. However, it's going to be a bit difficult, especially with Josie holding the cross. She does find the first. Oh, and the second. Josie, what on earth is that?
Yeah, that's absolutely insane from Josie. How'd she manage that? 3 kills in that round, doubles her kills in just 1 round with the pistols. And I honestly think the T side is where we're going to see her shine. She can go in and go hard, and we saw it here. That's also a disgusting tap from Ida.
Oh.
Some insane shots from both sides of the survey. Yeah, that is. How do you do that? How do you do that?
I can't believe that setup didn't find success.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Especially with the HE. Jenkin threw the HE as well, softened them up for the Julies, but no.
Flashbang was good.
Yeah. Loving this stack.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh.
We both like it. That's what makes it, that's how you know it's good. We both like it. Often we'll, you know, be in different minds about things. Yeah, see? How good's that?
However, they got the info, and now Astra is all on her lonesome on A. Difficult angle to clear, but you're wrapping long, so it feels maybe pretty free, although D7's in library and hasn't cleared the bomb site. Ida overlooks Astra. No, she turns back around, but Astra still drops the bomb regardless. That allows the time for NIP to ground together and get up towards short. Jenkin with another headshot, 2 versus 2, and it's just USPs. But it's fine.
It's all good.
Yeah.
No need to get stressed here, guys. D7's here with a firm hand on the steering wheel, guides them into their destination, which was winning that round. So they do convert. It's a little costly, and it's going to mean that, you know, we've got a Mac 10 in the mix the next round. No Galil there. Only the AK is held on over. That's a pretty cool round from NIP, all things considered. I mean, Astra gets away with murder here, quite literally. Trying the trigger discipline is a decision, right? It's kind of crazy that she decides to go for that. But, well, that's her kill. Keeps them honest. Now we get out the guns for NIP. Not going to be the prettiest. The little utility lacking. And you can see Big. They don't want to let them get comfortable. They're going fast. Out towards long. Astra spotted. Drops out the flash. She wants to keep fighting this, and it's good. One was playing anti, though. Josie able to swing around. Kiara in the site. Wanted to fight as well, and Pauly's found D7. Kiara fighting, and she's finding frags left, right, and center.
Insane from Kiara. Her anchoring has been on point the last couple of weeks, but that is just a testament to it. That's even after, yet again, Big Equipa find the opening kill, unable to convert from the advantageous situations. But look at the head glitch that Kiara was playing, and she nails every single shot. 17-9 right now.
Superb. You know, this is that Astra really needing to fire up. I imagine we'll get that AWP out on her eventually, but should be happy with the AK for now. We just have a couple of upgraded pistols here for Big. That HE, if it had been a little bit later, could have caught a few, but instead, they're going to avoid it. Pauly spots one, decides not to drop the smoke. She wants them to come to her. She wants the fight. Okay, now she's going to deploy it, and they're going to come on through. They have to go through the gray screen, and she can just farm them up. Yum, 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 says Paulie. Eats him up like a dinner well done.
Yeah, that's actually a really good decision, just to kind of hesitate on the smoke and then pull it in the doorway. Because as you mentioned, they've just got to come through and their vision is like partially obscured. It's always going to be a difficult watch on the Tech9s going for an apps play like that. Especially when the setup looks pretty damn good for NIP. And you're right, rifles out, rounds secured. And yet again, we've kind of got this half investment coming out of Big Equipa. It doesn't feel the best. You can assume that NIP should be converting this, which means next rifle round, you're going up quite a deficit here. And NIP would just be 3 steps away from taking their map pick.
Yeah, I kind of would have liked the force in the round prior, given the loss bonus wasn't there. Unless you get the bomb plant, even then it's not worth it. So I think if you're going to have to eco this one anyway, you may as well have... Could have had maybe a couple of Galils out, I think, with the money they had on at least 1 or 2 players. But alas, not the case. And now they're just going to be putting a bit of pace on. Naomi in a good angle, gets 2 and 3, and she is looking for more. Not stopping is Naomi. All 5 fall to her.
It's Kiara on one side, Naomi on the other. It's Twin Sanity on the server. You can't get past them, Lucy. It is absurd. The mechanical ability being shown right now. I mean, the ace is just the cherry on top to what has been a phenomenal showing of Inferno by NIP. And I guess to come back to your point as well, talking about the partial investments made in both rounds, kind of see that a lot out of French teams in the scene. And what the difference being and why they want to do it is to prioritize a heavy focus on utility. The conversation piece was there as well for Ida dropping the AWP over to Zana. But as mentioned previously in that first half, AWP in T-side Inferno can be quite difficult. You don't really get the full range of angles. You don't really get the opportunities to kind of take these fights on your terms. That's why it makes it such a difficult map to snipe on. So instead, Big Equipa, they've gone for full AKs and they've got a lot of utility at their disposal, which is fundamental to Inferno.
Oh, look at the speed from Jenkins. She spotted out a lot of players, but they're not giving her easy fights. Even gets the dink onto D7, but responded in kind. And all right, a lot of kills going everywhere early on, but it's the AKs from Big that come out ahead. 2 players brought down very low, which does make this tantalizing for Naomi, who's made her way over here. Walk past this mid-smoke. Asher spotted out 1, but that's all it's going to be. And now Naomi has to pull off something unbelievable. All players are incredibly low, but Jenny R phases the smoke, able to catch her out before she can do any further damage.
Quite big as well, because it was aggression coming out of NIP. It's a good moment to bring it out because you know that the economy has just been replenished. You're going to have all the AK, so you want to get up close and try and disrupt, but it was really well handled by Big Equipa. The fact that they only lose 1 player in amongst all of that.
And now we get to see the AWP out for Astra, so I'm excited. All eyes on Astra. Maybe not yet, but, you know, because she's not seeing anything right now. But keep an eye on Astra. Maybe like your back corner of your left eye on Astra at all times. She could just pop out of the window like a spectre in the night, haunting your nightmares. At least those are big, potentially.
Did you say a keep her eye on?
Okay.
Because if you didn't, that would have been good, eh?
Oh, I wish I had. That's so funny. Keep her eye on. All right, flash being set up. Astra's going.
Astra's going to take contact first, and then it'll be the flash after for the rifle. But Jenny R, what a shot. Completely puts ruin to the plan, or does it? Naomi with the double up, caught with nades in her pockets, but it doesn't really matter. Although maybe it does, because D7 has found 2 kills over on A, but bombs drops. Jenkins swaps to the AWP. D7 now has to go try and retake. AWP swings out, 1v1. D7 has to try and make the ascent up and land the shot, and she does.
D7, unbelievable, right? Not only did she win out that 1v1, but the fact that she found a double kill over towards A on both players on that side of the map, that's insane that she's able to pull that off. That's the winning moment, even though we didn't quite get to see it because everyone was dying over in Banana. Only one player lived from this entire fray, but D7 getting both these kills sets her up to be able to take this. If she, I mean, yeah, she had to win them. That's the game, the map. Insane. What a player.
Couple of smudges for NIP. Maybe try and get them involved down Banana. No, instead it's just the M4s. So how are they playing this with the MP9s on top brackets? Well, they're trying to get close in towards Boiler. Fantastic grenade. Lands right into D7. Catches it, but it's probably not the best decision to do that. Falls below 50 HP. But for Big, they're gathering information right now over towards B, but they want to go A.
Yeah, Kiara, this angle's not great with the MP9, I'm not gonna lie. It's a little bit of a toughie. Has support from Astra, who's also got an MP9. Oh, a boost. Now this I like. The smoke is here, it's gonna grant a little bit of a one-way almost. Oh, not quite though. Zana posts up and they decide to dismantle, couldn't quite connect. Ida gets a drive-by shot into Kiara as she's escaping. Zana's edging on forward. Paulie on the other side with the M4. The wrap coming on through. This one's falling apart for NIP. Astra in the side, just the MP9. As mentioned, doesn't finish either of them off. Almost a double kill. If she'd had a rifle, you can be assured it would have been so, but that is not the world we live in. And instead it means Naomi and Jenkin have to save.
Yeah, this is really good. This breaks the economy of NIP. Because you don't force into this. I wouldn't have fought with the 2 save rifles. It should just be pistols surrounding them as that limited support network. But that means that Big Equipa will be up to 13-11. Fundamentally, just 1 gun round at that stage from tying up the scoreline. So this game, despite looking a little bit far out of reach for Big, it is coming there step by step, closer and closer than NIP might be ready for.
Yeah, no, it's really good to see this T side. It looks really impressive from Big. And it's really interesting because the 2 players for both these teams, and we kind of touched on it before, that are kind of the superstars that are always outperforming everyone else in the server, are Zana and Astra. And it feels like we haven't really had to see too much from either of them so far. It's been the riflers that have been getting it done on both sides of the server.
Do you think that is because of Inferno, though? Or do we expect a little bit more despite the map pick for both of these players?
I mean, normally I'd say, yeah, Inferno doesn't necessarily lend itself to AWPers, particularly on the T side, right? It's a really strong post-plant weapon, but not really in terms of...
Sorry, Astra has 4 smokes.
Okay, that's a lot. But, you know, it's still, you expect to see a lot, particularly on the CT side. And I think particularly these 2 players individually, I've seen both of them do a lot on this map before. Inferno used to be a map that Big used to favor a lot in the old lineup. We've seen it a lot less this year from them, which is fine. You know, they've changed their map pull up a bit, bringing Anubis in. But, you know, I still think of Zana as being a player that can really find a lot of impact here. And Astra can really do it. She's proven it time and time again.
Oh, look at this, D7. So smart. Cerebral plays coming out of the lurker. That's why she's there, playing her role to perfection. That's one of the rifles dropped and it can't be recovered, and D7 is ensuring it. Even more kills. Hey guys, I've rolled out the red carpet. A, open, unlocked for business.
Yeah, Astra can have as many smokes as she wants. There's no round coming her way. No one's coming to beat. She's blazing alone. Jenny, well, she might give her some company shortly. Tucked into the corner. Astra is going to potentially clear. No. Dead. Okay, well, at least the trade does come. And will Astra get to hold on to the AK? Probably.
Yeah.
Hunting, not a good idea if you're Big at this stage.
It certainly isn't. These rounds have been quite close. Money not yet really established for Big, but the important thing is the numbers in the top middle of the screen, right? The fact that they are now just 2 rounds away from equalizing against NIP. This is the big one, though. This is the round that's going to determine a lot. I wonder if Astra is going to drop the AK over and buy an AWP. You'd imagine so, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Paulie can buy one. I mean, this was just against a couple of rifles. You know, they had to go for a bit of an aggressive play for NIP. You have to go for something different. So I don't blame them with the walkout, but I really love the way the Big handled that one. Patience, a virtue.
Yeah.
And Big Keeper looking very virtuous.
I think the theory behind the round was good, but the execution a little bit flawed because, say, the pistol player went first, there was an opportunity for the M4 to trade out onto D7. So, small micro things, but that's me. I'm a nitpicker.
A nitpicker?
Yeah. No?
No, nip. Nip as in you.
Oh, that's... Damn it. Yeah. All right, 1-1.
Well, we both could have had puns, and Kiara, she could have had a kill, but no, Josie's the one that gets it done. Paulie now deploys that smoke, but a lot of players coming her way. Steps up for that first kill, and Astra, she swings out for two, making a third. Astra is going lights out over here on the A bomb site. Can't quite get enough bullets to take down Zana, but the USP gets it done, gets herself the AWP, and arrives in the server.
There we go. And I said, oh, is Astra going to buy the AWP? No. Keeps the AK, and that is exactly why. Imagine if she had the sniper in that position. Obviously, they would be playing probably a very different setup, but the impact is heard. It's deafening for Big Equipa, and suddenly they're back to square one. What a round from Astra. It's the IGL leading from the front, stepping forward into the limelight, and now NIP are only a few steps away from taking their map pick.
Yeah, that's what we expect to see from Astra. Fantastic quad kill. What a hold. And this is kind of do or die now for Big. I mean, yeah, it is, right? You're giving up 15 if you lose this one. And money is reset. You're back onto really maybe some Galils or an AK if you're lucky. They have kept a little bit of extra cash on D7 and Ida to facilitate that next purchase. Naomi gets edging on forward. The retake utility for Top Banana deployed. She's going to juggle over a second barrage of it as well. Going to flush out once the sound cues come through that someone is Top Banana, and they're going to force them into Naomi's crosshair.
They're going to flash to get Naomi on the angle, and then the molly's going to go deep just past the half wall to separate these players. Although it just doesn't quite work out. Naomi will find the kill at the very least. Incendiary, it's the change of course. Flushed forward in to try and stop Josie, and now Jenkins got an overwhelming amount of pressure to contend with. But in actual fact, it's Astra that finds Josie. 4 on 3. Kiara rotating in quick proximity, and this flashbang's being lined up.
Yeah, they're in a tough position on the T side here. They're going to have to fight their way through, and they know it. It's beautiful, but Astra hits a fantastic shot. D7 trying to bring something back, but now she's the only one alive, and Astra has her pinned on in. Playing patient around the corner, not giving her an easy fight. As soon as her teammate goes down on the site, Astra knows it is time to strike. 15 secured for NIP.
Do you know what? I really rate that attempt from Big Equipa. Typically, when you plant the bomb, you want to take more control beyond the bomb site to give you a little bit more opportunity in the after plant. The fact that they fight forward nearly comes at the perfect moment. D7. Really unfortunate. Astra hits the shot. 15-11. Oh my, look at the buy as well. It is not ideal.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at least they got the bomb plant, so they got rifles out. But it's a tough one for them to have to pull off. Triple quad set up over towards A. Rotating player in Naomi makes their way over. Now the hit comes on through. Kiara spots out one. Josie goes down for free. She's looking for more, but Zana has taken down Naomi. And now they're going to swing on through. Jenkins boosts up on the flower pots, does find one back. And Kiara, she's taking the initiative into her own hands. 2 big kills. Takes the map. 16-11 for NIP.
Yeah, what a try. A very good effort from Big Equipa to try and build back in the second half of this second half. That's not the right sentence, but anyway, they attempted the comeback, but it was that swing round when NIP had all the investment. Astra with the 4K. it really just set the tone for the rest of the half. It ensured that NIP were able to secure their map pick, because I'll be honest, they were looking a little bit shaky here on the defense.
Yeah, I was really impressed by what Big showed us on that T side. It felt like the comeback was on. They were really shining, but NIP, a few crucial rounds went their way. Some of these holds, particularly over towards the A side, were just phenomenal. Naomi, a masterclass on both sides of the server. Her and Kiara were stepping up in spades. And that was where Astra was a little bit quieter than usual, but not necessarily an issue when you have so many solid fraggers around you. We did get this sick 4K from Astra though, so she wasn't completely silent. Just chose her time of when she wanted to strike.
Yeah, for sure. And it's also important to give Paulie her flowers, because it was the fact that she has been a little bit, not absent, that's not really fair, but has not really been reaching the level that she really achieved when she started on her tenure with NIP. But that's all for map 1. We're going to throw it to a very short break. When we come back, it's the desk to break it all down.
Gamers, UNICEF and I need you by our side for a real-life mission. A mission to protect the rights of every child. After news cameras have left, UNICEF is here. Every day, everywhere, but particularly where it's needed most. Did you know that more than 170 million children need UNICEF's humanitarian aid this year? At Gamers Without Borders, many of you have already chosen UNICEF, and I thank you for that. Choosing UNICEF is the easiest and smartest decision you can make, because you're investing in a child. And investing in a child guarantees lifelong returns, not only for that child, but also for their community and for our world.
The divisions in the world are stark. Recent years have shown some of the largest natural disasters ever in history. And that really hits hardest the people who had the least to begin with. These people need help. It would be a real tragedy if all these advances in science, in health and technology only benefit people in a position to pay for them. There should be no lesser standard if you happen to be poor. These problems can be overcome. Direct Relief is a humanitarian, nonprofit health organization. The focus has been on the least fortunate, most vulnerable people. On a good day, things are tough for a lot of people in this world and in this country. And what we can do is mobilize private resources for their benefit and make it available free of charge. We're the first nonprofit in the history of the United States to obtain accreditation just like a commercial distributor. And it's been expanded geographically to every country in the world and every state and territory of the United States. What's now Direct Relief officially was started in 1948 as a private effort of a war immigrant businessman named William Zimden. The basic guiding principles of a war immigrant businessman really influence what Direct Relief has done ever since. And they begin with just serving the people who need help. We have this great privilege of engaging with people who come in from very different backgrounds, but with the same purpose of trying to just do something good. It doesn't matter if you're typing or talking on the phone or working on the warehouse floor. They're all part of an effort that means something bigger, and that is the fuel that kind of keeps you going. It gives you some sense that there is a way to make meaningful progress, even for a little organization that started at a kitchen table, but that's what provides motivation in life. The notion that many people, just by virtue of where they're born, the color of their skin, the country they live in, they're going to get sicker, they're going to stay sicker longer, and they're going to die sooner. That's pretty good motivation. These issues are too big for any one organization to address. We really work hard to honor these guiding principles, invite people to participate, and we are sure thankful for the thousands of people across the country and world who have become part of Direct Relief by virtue of their participation.
Progress is a race that has no end. After every finish line, another challenge awaits. How can we continue to push innovation in a sport at the forefront of technology? This is how. Discover how Aramco and the Aston Martin Formula One team aim to meet Formula One's sustainable fuel targets. Aramco, powered by how.
Welcome back to my futuristic studio here at Gamers Without Borders. Now, it would appear that some adjustments need to be made. Steph, I'm going to come to you. The question is, are these adjustments minimal, or are we talking a complete tactical overhaul? For Big.
For Inferno on Big, for Big on Inferno, I think that not really a major overall, but what we saw today is that when key players don't show up, the cohesion wasn't enough to beat a team like NiP. So one of the best players on Big just kind of didn't show up. It felt like a D7, like, one-woman affair. I was so impressed. She was cutting her enemies with like a knife in a cake, but unfortunately she was kind of the only one doing that. And so I don't know if my metaphors make sense, Heather, and if you agree with it, but
makes perfect sense, Steph. Yeah, perfect sense. Yeah, D7 just all over the place, like cutting off those flanks, taking sites for herself, calling the rest of her team over. So she had some really good moments, but on the other side, like NiP again, just looked very clean. I think even B-Dog mentioned it, like Naomi and Kiara are kind of competing against each other to see who could get how many more 3Ks, you know, aces. They looked really good. Those two have been playing together for a long time, and their chemistry was very obvious here. And then, you know, even Astra stepped it up eventually. Like we pointed out, the Astros struggled a bit, but big players know how to make big plays when it matters most.
Yeah, the cohesion from NIP was brilliant, but also just the frags were just absolutely out of control, as you could hear from both of our casters. But in case you missed that map, do not worry, because we have some highlights for you. And Sapphire, you know, we spoke about NIP to having a point to prove in this match almost being a rematch. Do you feel like they've proven that point up to this point after map 1?
I think so. We've got to see more here. This was their map pick. We expected them to do well, but they came out looking even better. I think getting 10 on T side was a good performance. They started to let it slip away, but pulled it together when it mattered. So I think we're on the right track for NiP. But again, this was their map pick. Soon we're gonna go over to Big's map pick, which is where NiP haven't had success historically. So hopefully, you know, there's something to be said about momentum, though. Feeling really well. We just saw Naomi's ace there. That always feels good. You kind of feel dominant as you're going into the next map. You feel a bit invincible.
Yeah, I feel like their show out at the moment is absolutely unreal. Because you've seen how Big have kind of clawed their way back, but then they were pushed straight back down as well. And I think that NIP just seemed like they remained in control, especially towards those final rounds of that map. Now we've got our head-to-head on your screen right now. You've got Astra and Xanath. Now, our head-to-head graphic is kind of showing these two players, but Astra, I feel like we had high expectations for her going into this map, and she just seemed to slow roll it for the first, you know, the first portion of this. Do you feel the same, Steph?
Yeah, I chose these two players for head-to-head, or we chose them, because they, if you take a look at their HLTV stats, okay, they are supposed to be the top players from both teams. And in this first map, they both kind of were quiet. And one could argue on the NIP side, Astra, she didn't have to come alive that much because her team is doing so great. But on Xana's side and on Big's side, she definitely needed to step up at some point. 28.6 EDR is a really rough game, and if Big wants to win this BO3 2-1, I almost said 21, 2-1, they're like Xana is gonna have to wake up, so she should go around, move her body, bring the oxygen back to her brain, because she's gonna need to perform in map number 2 and potentially 3.
Well, let's look forward to the next map, like you just mentioned. Sapphire, we're going to be heading towards Vertigo. How can Big turn this one around? You know, what are your thoughts with this? We've seen that it's actually still fairly even. It wasn't a complete blowout. So what are the fine tweaks that they should really do to turn this around?
Yeah, I mean, we saw some good moments for them on the T side, and then last time they played this map against NIP, T side is where they had a lot of great successes too. They had a strategy, you know, as we heard from Ida in that interview earlier. They have got a legendary coach and Musambani, so like leveraging his knowledge, making sure they're not getting too stressed, not worried about losing this match. They have a good plan, T-side, and so we just need to see them execute that. Pretend this is 0-0. Don't worry that they're down one map.
Yeah, during the first map as well, B-Dog mentioned that there were some teething issues with NIP. I guess that it was still early on in map 1, but did you notice any teething issues, Steph, like as they kind of approached those first couple of rounds?
You're gonna have to excuse my French, but some what issues? I don't
teething issues. Teething issues. Like
teething?
Teething, like teeth. Teething
like
issues
your teeth
being
are coming
like just
in, like
issues.
when a baby, their teeth come in, yeah.
Oh, like pain.
Like
pain.
small issues. They had like some slight issues, yeah.
Okay. Oh my God, I'm so French. Yes, I absolutely think there's some small issues. And I have to say, we saw a little bit, like, they were talking about the Josie ping a lot, but we saw it affected probably her team, like everyone's mental. So they're going to have to kind of push that away. And I have to call out all of the teams today. Please use your timeouts. What's going on? We have not seen a lot of timeouts throughout all of the best of 3 so far. So use them. Try to break that momentum. Try to everyone calm down their nerves so that you can come back in a game that you're potentially about to lose.
I mean, historically, when you have like Big going up against NIP, like when you've already mentioned, Sapphire, about this map pick from Big, could we see this as the turning point? Because you've mentioned that NIP, the first map was their pick. So now that this is Big's pick, is this kind of leaning in their favor going into this? Should we expect our viewers to see Big triumph over this map?
I mean, they've had a lot of success on this map, right? So it's one that they felt comfortable on. Big plays it well, but at the same time, Nip plays this map well too. Not against Big historically, but otherwise Nip has picked up a number of wins on this map in ESL Impact season. So, you know, it's Big can't get too ahead of themselves here, right? Because Nip is pretty decent on it too.
Oh, is this going to be the D7 show going into map number 2? Only one way to find out if they can claw it back. I feel like we should head over to Lucy and B-Dog. And I want some predictions from both of you, please, as we go into map number 2.
Well, we can give our predictions as well. Everyone's predicting. Brandon, I feel like you're a Nip picker, as we established.
Yeah, it's true. I picked them all throughout the ESL Impact Season 3, right? And I'm still going to head with that. I think this is a very strong map for NIP. The issues that I kind of want to kind of bring back and kind of touch upon that the desk were mentioning about Big's T side posing such a threat for NIP, I'm worried they're going to go away, learn from that demo, and then be really rigid on the CT side. I'm worried they're going to be really stuck in their ways, and that is a problem that we might see. And if that is the case, Big can make some really good on the fly mid-round calls to kind of deviate away from those potential problems. And I think that's where kind of if NIP get tunnel visioned, that's where it could be pretty costly.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident about Nip going into Vertigo just because of their past performance on this map. Yes, Big beat them last time, but that's just been a moment of reflection then for NIP, right? As you mentioned, they can watch back that demo, they can kind of work out where they went wrong, address those issues, and I expect to see them, based on what we just saw with the players we saw popping off, they're going to be looking very explosive here. At that head-to-head between the two AWPers, I'm keeping an eye on as well. Obviously, Vertigo, not always super AWP-heavy map, but certainly potential for it. But I think it's going to be a very explosive battle between these two teams.
I think it's actually really difficult for Zana, or because she had a really rough Inferno. You now go onto the T side, I'd assume, of Vertigo, because I feel like Nip will start on the defense. So T side or pin on Vertigo, again, it's really difficult. It poses the same conversation piece as we had about Inferno. So you need the rest of the players to really get a lot of leverage out of their positions. You look towards Josie and towards middle, you look towards Jenny R towards B, and it was those players in particular that were creating the most problems for NIP. It was them walking in the late round where NIP had shuffled all of their defense.
Well, let's see it then. Jumping into Vertigo, map 2 of this best of 3. This is a single elimination charity tournament, so it's all do or die now for Big. Elimination on the line for NIP. They want to have a chance to take down Enigma Galaxy again. That'll be the rematch coming through. A lot of rematches here. Now the Gamers Without Borders event. And it's fast from Big up towards the ramp. Kiara spots out a couple, fires off a shot, and she's going to start to fall back. Has Astra tucked on into the side here. And that sandbag, the decoy comes on over. That's designed there to bait out her position, but she's not biting yet, waiting. Eventually, it's going to pop. And we'll reveal. Oh, okay. She's not been checked. Oh, Astra swung out for 2. Looking for a third as well. D7 over in the sidelines. And Astra, well, she sidelines her. What a pistol round from Astra.
You know what happens there? That micro play from Astra, you might have missed it. We might see it again on the replay. You said it. Decoy thrown over, designed to make an audio cue if it hits a player in sandbag. Astra moves slightly to the right-hand side, so it bounced right past her. The audio wasn't given up, and so they don't check the position. And that's where she can just lie in wait and orchestrate the rest of her forces to play off her contact. That was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, beautiful stuff from Astra, who I think is probably one of the best pistol players that we have in the women's scene. I feel like her pistol ace on Inferno, I think in week 2 of ESL Impact, was it? I don't know. It was one of those weeks.
It was wild.
Yeah, that was like probably the craziest clip from that entire season. She is nuts. As most AWPers are with pistols, I guess that's kind of not uncommon to see that crossover. It's all point and click, right? That's why AWPing's easy. Just point and click.
The whole game is kind of point and click.
Oh no, because you got to point and click and drag if you got a rifle. It's a whole extra step you got to pull into the thing. All right, well anyway. Kills coming through here, which is actually pretty decent, to be honest. And it's 2 M4 kills at the end for Astra. But they do lose a couple of MP9s in the mix there. It's not a big deal, really, but you don't want to lose too many lives there against just Glocks.
I absolutely love that description of Counter-Strike, by the way. It's like, aim it, click it, drag it, bop it.
Bop it.
Yeah.
It's a Daft Punk song. We've got all the lyrics. We had the rap verses earlier. Now we're getting into electronica.
I'm excited. We're going to go music through the ages.
Yeah.
IP.
What's up next? You never know.
Winning these rounds on repeat. Big Equipa would love to hit the playlist on shuffle. Take a round back for themselves. They have got the rifles in play. This is where the mid presence of Josie, her lurking prowess could really come into favor. Kiara up close. Just gets denied immediately.
Yeah. That's a pretty nice kill. They had a second player there in Astra ready to, if like kind of a fast swing came through, but just wasn't needed. So a kill for free, courtesy of Josie, who has proved to be very good on this T side. This boost has been holding for a long time. And with no contact, no reason not to continue holding it. Paulie out in the open gets one, but the issue with that position is it is done after that one. But look at Astra getting up close, getting into the corner, and she goes for a huge spray. Almost finds the third frag, but couldn't quite finish the job. So Ida is able to get over here. Look to plant that bomb. Although, maybe not. She didn't pick it up. Ida's getting on close. Jenkins arrived and charged on through. Ida found Naomi there, somehow, in that fray. And so it's D7. Yet to post, but we know what she can do. Player behind Jens, waiting for the peak, but Jenkins falls on back. Knows that initiative has to be taken by D7 in this position. She's picked up that bomb. Just to see if she does go for a little bit of a look in, just to see how safe it is before she commits to the plant. And she does just that, just clearing Jens, seeing if anyone's nearby. A smoke she can deploy, and she can get onto that plant, but the time she took this has allowed Jenkins to get up so close, and she's going to spot her as she backs on out.
It's all mind games on the server early on to kick off Vertigo, but look at Jenkin. Takes it one step back initially and then thinks, hang on, I'm better off just being a little bit safer, deeper into CT. Because if D7 makes this play, I'm definitely not cleared. And if the bomb goes down on A, I'm half a second to a second closer to be able to rotate through. Really nicely done. And the fact that Ida as well drops the bomb back. It doesn't reveal that she's got the C4, but what it does do is try to get her into an advantageous position so the bomb can go down and she can catch the defenders rotating in by surprise.
Yeah, really well clutched out by Jenkins. 3-0 start for NIP, as happy as can be. And again, it's paced and big over towards the ramp, looking to get elevated as Jenkins. She's peering on over this smoke and can't quite take down Zana. 99 damage done. Naomi finds 100 onto Josie. Now Astra wants to get involved, try and go to the position that Jenkins just got taken down from. Bigger backed out. They're taking a lot of flak damage and just want to take a moment to regroup themselves. But now they're looking to come on back through. This is where Astra's position can be so deadly. No way to clear it. There's a HE, the only piece of utility that can really do anything about this position.
But then it's a question of, do you want to throw it and reveal that you're here? Naomi tucked in over towards short. If they swing right now, it could be perfect, but Zana, low HP, walks into the guillotine. At least there's a trade, but yet again, this has sold the dream. Astra isn't here, but in fact, she is. Needs to be cleared and isn't. That's the bomb dropped yet again. Astra aware that Jenny R could be, but Kiara steps in the nick of time. Ida knows where one of these players are, but Paulie is the unknown entity walking away through the elevators, and NIP continue this flawless start to life on Vertigo.
That's just beautiful, NIP. Just the positioning there, just the way that they decide to put Astra immediately back into the kind of close. You can see Jenkins goes down here early, right? She's playing over towards that side of the ramp. Naomi gets the kill and falls back. You kind of know that she's here because she's taken that first kill, right? You're not expecting Astra to have crept into the sandbags this whole time. Just been waiting. Like a little trapdoor spider, waiting for the moment to spring out and devour you whole.
It's really good to see the communication. You can see it flowing through these sort of middle into end portions of the round for NIP. Everyone is taking contact after their teammates, right? So it's like a double layering upon even more just... It's just really well done. I'm so impressed with how NIP look. We talked about the fundamentals on Inferno. We're seeing, I think, in back-to-back rounds now, the importance of their dynamic. It was interesting to see the VT with Ida. They talked about their prac routine. I wonder what NIP's looks like, because at the moment, they are absolutely demolishing Big Equipa. Their map pick, by the way.
Yeah, and this is why, I mean, I was a little concerned about the Vertigo pick, because obviously you beat them last time as Big. That is, they won last time. It was pretty convincing. But NIP are good at this map. One L doesn't make a full alphabet. And D7, that's a big kill into Naomi. Opens it up. Taking presence over towards ramp with that lurk. So maybe there is something here for Big.
D7 turning that number upside down, handing the L to Naomi. I feel like what's interesting is you look at the last time these two teams went head-to-head versus what's going on now. It's NIP being a lot more dynamic on the CT side. Now we've got Paulie up close. Kiara's even going to flash her in. Full blind. Zana hits the deck. See you later.
That really sucks for Zana. No chance to really get involved. Had that AWP out, and oh, that's a missed jump. Bullet soars as she falls, and Big have definitely made it very apparent that they're going here.
Yeah.
They have 50 seconds left. They don't have to. The question is, how long do they hold? Not very. Jenny R is going to be facing, and she does find a kill. Kiara gets the trade and even spots out Ida. A very difficult position to be fighting from if you are Ida. So Kiara able to find one, and look at this repositioning again. Astra spotted, but are you ready for Kiara now, tucked in towards wood where you've just cleared a player? No, you're absolutely not. And she's able to swing out for one. Astra gets the immediate trade, and Ida now in the 1 versus 2. Both players here. Flames come on forward, and Astra wide swings for the kill.
What's really interesting there is that NIP don't have much utility, so instead they're fighting forward. And it's, as you mentioned, the bait and switch. And yet again, it's the bait and switch. Astra actually stepping in allows Kiara to be in that position undetected, because you think it's Kiara that's there the whole time. It's layering from NIP. The defense, you're just not expecting it. And yet again, what we're looking at as well as these highlights roll through is just the trade spacing. NIP is instantaneous.
Well, this is a bit of a faster round. Zana gets one, but Kiara and Naomi, they get a kill apiece. Oh, Naomi adds another one to the feed. Zana has gotten past, which would have been an issue if all of her teammates hadn't fallen. So now we do get to see the ace clutch potential here. Punt in the digits, gets that bomb planted, but she is under so much pressure. Kiara just never let her get out. No comfort allowed. And the pace gives Big almost a round there, one of the closest they've had so far. But the streak remains flawless for NIP.
Impressed with Big, though. That's Zana coming up trumps. 3 important kills. I like the fact she wants to take space and try and catch out the players rotating over. We get to see it here as well. Just kind of ignores the players that were fighting forward. Just wants to get in the back lines immediately. Nearly offers up a fantastic opportunity for her. But she is cleaned up because of the lack of armor. 7-0. This one really is starting to run away from Big Equipa. Back out with the rifles. Zana with the AWP.
I didn't get a chance to use it last time. See if she can this time around. And once again, okay, Naomi's found the opener. She has just been so good at this position towards gap in terms of, well, finding gaps and finding players. Feels like she's always good for one there, no matter the situation, and she's not done with one. She wants more. She's got an up down close, and well, Zana has found a kill back. Naomi tucks in next to Tarpaulin. A difficult position to clear. Zana flashes herself in. Astra swings behind the flames. It's beautiful. Using the utility to give herself a bit of a one-way, and she's gotten 2 kills for it. A good deal for Astra, and she's not ready to stop yet, but she's forced to. And Jenny R now in the clutch. Paulie is very fast in this rotation. Jenny didn't hear it. Oh, they've both got knives out. They both swap, and Jenny R a little bit quicker on the trigger. Adjust to the head, but a lot of damage done. And it's a 1v1. Kiara in the right place. Jenny R has some Molotov. Oh, spots out a player, gets another opportunity. Kiara repositioning, tucking into the corner. Now she's getting a little curious. Knows she has the health advantage, wants to push the issue, see if Jenny R has escaped, and this patience is perfect. She knows the head-to-head is difficult, so wait for Kiara to come to you, but it had to be perfect. And unfortunately, it's not the headshot, so Kiara comes through with the clutch.
I'm gonna steal Miss Harvey's catchphrase. Oh, it's come in. Never mind. I feel like this pause is a little too late. I feel like this could have come in a couple of rounds ago, right? I feel like it's really needed. It is in, that's the most important thing, but I feel like the damage has already been done. NIP have won out the half. It's 8 out of 8. Great performance, mate.
Yeah, I rate it. There's that first tactical. So the capital C-O-O-L. Off the back of it, what is Big Equipa's game plan going to be? They have the investment coming through. No AWP. Or will there? Okay, there will be an AWP. Do you need it? Well, okay, look. I'm not going to judge. Let's see. But it has come at the detriment of utility for Ida.
Yeah.
And also Zana in a way, right? Because she had to... Well, actually, no, she would have been lacking anyway. But yeah. Let's see. D7 got an opener before. It didn't result in the round, and that was a bit of an issue. Find the opening, which they have a couple of times. You do need to be able to still close. Losing 4 on 5s is not great. Doesn't take a genius to work that one out. Astra, this position, very powerful. Astra's 15 for 3, by the way. And Naomi has again found the opener at gap.
Yeah, the molly gives over D7's position, just a simple spam through the smoke, and Josie feels like she needs to activate, try and gather some control, gets shut down by Astra. Kiara, oh, actually loses out the fight to Jenny R. That's an important small win for Big. Potentially it could snowball into greater and greater things, but take a look at this from Astra. No way they expect this. They're going to go all the way around behind. How's your nerve, Astra? Looking for even more, and she finds 2. That is insane from Astra. And Ida now in the 1 versus 3. Simply too many players to contend with, but it's phenomenal. Once again, it's NIP just aggressively pushing forward, catching off guard. They are very happy with that.
Yeah, I'd be very happy with Astra for that one. What a great round to pick up. And again, just in the bloody walls is Astra, always able to find these gaps where she can exploit an opportunity, knows that, again, teammate went down here. Look at the ground, but that smoke just gives her an opportunity. She walks through the veil of the night and strikes. Massive kills coming on through and doesn't even overcommit after finding the second as well. Just waits.
Astra is 18 and 3.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it? Kiara under pressure. Josie has been forced on forward, and Kiara easily collects that kill. Another opening going the way of NIP. This one's feeling a little bit more like the NIP that the 16-1 Na'Vi Javelins last weekend. And the NIP that 2-0'd Nigma Galaxy.
Oh, now it's just Jenkins taking fight. She feels so confident she's just going to swing angles. And this smoke has been deployed basically every round from NIP. It gives them a little bit of a one-way. In the UK scene, we call this the endpoint smoke. D7 just holding this pixel, would love NIP to press the issue, but they've got all the control. Why on earth would they need to push further? The onus of responsibility and pressure is on Big. 2 versus 5.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? Naomi spotted out D7, firing off bullets, keeping her entertained, keeping her occupied. D7 falls on back. Geniara has found some success over towards B in many of these rounds, but this time around, yeah, they're going to save. It's dire situation, but I mean, what else can you do? Can't give it a look in by any measure. 10-0 scoreline, Brandon. This is NIP.
I didn't expect this. I thought it would be a lot closer. I thought NIP would have learnt their lessons from the previous one, and well, it looks like they have tenfold. And there's no real critique in it, to be honest. It's just been spotless, and for Big Equipa, certainly work to do. They need to give themselves at least a lifeline in this first half.
Yeah, this T-side has been a bit of a struggle, and the T-side was really where they were excelling on Inferno, right? It felt like that's where they were making that game look very competitive, and we felt like they were going to be coming back in, and the players that were doing it, Josie and D7, 3 kills between the two of them. Now, you know, I don't want to really, you know, make a big deal about that, but it is a bit of a tough game for them both so far. Naomi's been such a nuisance as kind of D7's dueling partner over towards Gap, and then you've got Jenkin and Astra weighing in over this side of the map, and it is difficult to deal with. There's Naomi again. D7 does get the better of her this time. Jenkin not able to get the better of Zana. Kiara now, she's rotated on over, trying to get a few, but it's chaos, and Big are thriving in it. Astra's still here, though, and Astra is doing Astra things, keeping them absolutely wounded, and they are not able to remove her. Paulie comes on through for the final frag, and an IP. Well, that one looked like Big were going to take it, but their defense is just so darn solid.
Go back to our music theme. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but take a look at NIP's reactions to the situations. The fact that you've got 2 players that fall early after taking the initial fights, guess what? You haven't got 1 player that stepped in, it's actually the second. You've got premature rotations, but this is the fastest that Big Equipa have actually thrown around at you, despite the Tech 9s. So you know what's up here.
That's just 20 for 3. I mean, what can you do? Her positioning has just been insane. It's not necessarily just that she is fragging well, but she is out positioning them every single time. It's beautiful to see. And now Jenkin, a bit of a change up, getting in front of the smoke. Not uncommon, and there's a lot of players on the other side they're going to phase, but she's got the M4. They've got the pistols. She should be spotting Zana. No, the phase comes on through, and Naomi, she can't trade immediately. She's able to find one, but not enough bullets. Zana with that collected M4 does get the kill. Astra's now arrived over the Danger Woman for NIP, and she still has danger in her name. Fills the feed for another. Kiara on that rotation up on over, and Astra, she's doing just that, coming over the top, denying the bomb plant as well. Zana gets the trade, but this round has fallen apart. And Zana, oh, it comes down to a 1v1 at the tail end, but she is not ready for that fast flank.
Just as I'm kind of praising NIP, I feel like in that round, they're trying to vary the CT side a little bit too much. It's really aggressive. You should know that their money's a little bit weaker. Where Big Equipa haven't been planting the bomb, you kind of get this yo-yo effect of AK-47s followed up by Tech 9s. We've just had the AKs. We should be expecting these Tech 9s up close against the pistols. Never really want to fight where you want to find yourself, but Astra saves the day. Going up and over, denying the bomb, allows enough time for the flank to activate and also for Kiara to step in on the bomb site.
Domination in the server from the ninjas. Oh, that HE does a lot of damage to the boost as well. Big, they can't find a break here. This ramp has proved to be quite the troublesome area for them. Smashing their heads against the wall that is Naomi and Astra. And this is Astra without the AWP as well. We were having that conversation about how impactful the AWPs would be here, but they've opted for rifles on both sides more often than not. Zana's got out the AWP a couple of times. To little avail. Naomi, a good amount of damage onto Zana, but that's a great headshot from Ida. Again, a 4v5, but a couple of wounded players here for Big. HE comes on over, misses onto Zana. Ida chipped down a little bit lower, and more utility raining on through, keeping them at bay. Everyone from the CTs has rotated on over. Double boost even coming on through to peer over the top of this smoke. Naomi gets an opportunity, but Kiara at least does trade when she goes down. Now that bomb planted, a difficult retake. Look at the health for NIP.
Yeah, it looks pretty good for a Big Equipa round. Got to get on the bomb as well. There's no smoke to kind of hide your progress, and Jenny R is churning them up gap. Astra, of course she's finding kills, but I don't think it's going to result in the round win. She's trying to find a little safe place to try and defuse, but Josie has her number. And finally, we get to see it. The number one, the score etched onto the board next to Big Equipa's name. But the maximum they can find, Lucy, is 3 rounds in this first half.
Yeah, at least the second round might be actually doable here. You know, despite this insane scoreline, the economy is surprisingly not great for NIP. To see this fray coming back. So yeah, it's a little lacking. Naomi's got a Desert Eagle. She's been kind of the key defender over on 8. I like this though. Jenny R has found an opening over here a couple of the earlier rounds, and so they get poorly down early. I feel like you kind of want the MP9 there instead of the M4, but
yeah,
we'll see what she can do with it. Singed. So Jenny R gets the sound cue.
Oh. Gets spammed a little bit as well. Jenkin fighting low HP. This is dangerous, but is this an angle that Big Equipa are going to inspect? Ida should have her dead to rights if she peeks, but she's worried about the gap pressure that Naomi has conditioned her to. I really like her hesitation though, yeah.
Ooh. Okay, falls off. The jiggle spots her out, and D7 finishes the job she started earlier. Another opening over towards ramp. There you go, time to work with. Astra's still here though. Doubled up with Naomi in the side here. Smokes come on through. Are you ready for both these players? Oh, Naomi definitely got spotted there. And oh my God, doesn't budge, and Zana walks straight back on through, but Big have rerouted. They're going back over towards the B bomb site. Poorly rotated off, ready for this hit to come on through, and that's given them free access. She is close behind the gens, but Jenny R, well, so is she. Now a 4-on-3 in the retake, a difficult position for NIP. Jenny R makes it all the more difficult.
Yeah, this is the first round where we've seen Jenny R's lurk come into fruition. And that was a big thorn in the side of NIP last time around. It was the late lurking. They'd pulled all of the rotations towards A, and then Big Equipa would end B. It's good that we're seeing it, and it's good that it's come in, but at the same time, you're 12-2 down.
Yeah. Well, at least 12-3, pretty likely. You know, I'm trying to paint the picture here.
Should be.
It should be. Although Naomi and Astra have M4s, and if I wanted 2 players to be having the weapons at the moment for NIP, it's those 2 players.
That is dastardly, that deagle shot from Naomi. Feels like she can do no wrong on the server. Couple of fam-eye. I know you're not a fan-eye of it, but it's what NIP have got to work with. Kiara on the deeg this time, so another twin with a pistol. Astra creeping closer. Jenny R might find her just by pure mystery. Does reveal her position. And again, that AK, not recoverable for Kiara.
Yeah, it's a big kill to find. Jenny R has been doing wonders for Big. Keeping them in this. Even if it is by the smallest of margins. Jenkin again has gotten to a bit of a... Okay, no, she's fallen out. She was sort of sitting out at a bit of an off angle, but she falls on back in. Naomi above her, able to provide support. Jenkins just jiggling, has the incendiary in hand. Naomi ready for the contact and steps up with a kill on Zana. D7 though, an immediate double kill. That is huge from D7. That's given them the pathway in. Kiara coming quickly, but it's just this Desert Eagle in hand. Paulie on her way with the FAMAS. This is looking for good for Big. They just need to stick the landing.
Kiara, surely she gets cleared here. Doesn't need to swing. D7 arriving. Better late than never. 3 kills already. Paulie gets decimated through the smoke, and it will be those 3 rounds right at the very end for Big Equipa. But is that enough, Lucy?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like enough, does it? A domination from NIP on the CT side. It felt like they were just on a whole nother level for those first 12 rounds, right? Barely a flaw in their armor. Big Equipa now so much to do when the sides switch.
Well, the question I posed before we jumped into Vertigo was, would Nip remain too static on the defense? Well, I think we got our answer. Absolutely not. But what is going well for Big Keeper? They got the last 3 rounds, so momentum is technically on their side, and Zana is showing up. Now, on the CT side, she can pick and choose her angles of the AWP, and it needs to find impact.
Yeah, I like the way you've kind of painted the picture as if this wasn't a 12-3 half. This has been absolutely domination from NIP. But hey, Big R still in it. Still swinging, still kicking. Still a bit to show us yet. Zana, dual Berettas in hand. Taking them over towards A, which is where a couple of these NIP players are going early. She's going to peek on out. Spots on 2. Falls on back, but it's just the 2.
Yeah, that bomb is making its way on to B instead. Oh! Dual Beretta's not finding a kill.
Yeah, not ideal. T7 falling on back. They're going for a bit of rotation over towards A, and it's the wrong read. Although this information will be gathered shortly. Jenny R gets 1, Naomi does as well. So it's a 1-for-1, and that's actually caused D7 to hesitate. The flash is going to announce the presence, but, well, Kiara walks onto that red carpet with a headshot. Puts it a darker shade, and now Ida is making her way on through, but Astra has something to say about it, and this pistol needed to be Biggs. It was a requirement for them to have any showing here on Vertigo, and for Jenny R, she has no hope at all in this round. Unfortunately, no kit, no time, 4 players to find. That's a nice headshot, but Naomi is there for the immediate trade. And that's 13 for NIP, a 10-round lead.
You know what's heartbreaking about that as well? That's a Uno reverse card to be a keeper. NIP start off A, announce all the presents, find the opener, and then all the rotations fall on favor towards the first letter of the alphabet, and NIP go the other way. Revenge is a dish best served cold. However, with that being said, NIP are looking hot to trot on Vertigo.
Oh, look at this. I'm going to be running into the stack. Okay, well, all right. These pistols, well, they can sing. Kiara now has a 1v4 turn 1v3 on her hands. And that's recovered weaponry for the big squad. Now, there's no armor behind it. A bit of utility on Jenny R that's been recovered. Kiara has a lot of time to work with. Spots out one player. They're trying to fling her all at once. Overwhelm, but she's hitting shots. Dinked on through 4 HP. Jenny R is able to secure the kill. And somehow Big with the mid-rush stack with the pistols make it work.
What a great eco round for Bigger Keeper, because now look at their money. They can just buy M4s straight into this, and they can future-proof. NIP completely lost, obliterated by the stack. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts. Does come down to the 1 versus 1, but Jenny R will secure just Tech 9s and a couple of Deagles versus the world.
Okay, well, there's something to be talking about here. Big win this. NIP have to eco. And suddenly, that 13-3 is a 13-7. And 7 is a bigger number than 3. By a large margin. It's over double the number. So something to consider. Ida just looking to get a few numbers onto her kills, but it's only the 1. Can't quite find the second. A smoke wasn't it either. Doesn't matter. Jenny R's here to help out. That flashbang is good. Astra with the Tech 9 up on top, but D7 puts her on down.
I like the attempt at the mid-split, but...
Oh,
okay, doesn't matter. I was going to say that the bomb is nowhere near a sight, but Kiara deals with D7. Jenny R at the back of the generators can try and deny, but is catching flack. And all the meanwhile, the digits have been punched in. Was that a jump shot from Jenkin? Well, suddenly Zana's overwhelmed. How has this round turned on its head?
Oh, that is so unfortunate. That HE, that's going to find 1. So Josie has an opportunity here. She's got a smoke and a kit. Kiara is very low, but it's so difficult for Josie. A ping an issue in this sort of position. 1v2, can't quite connect onto the first, and that is a stolen round from the Ninjas. And that might just be that last dagger through the ribs.
At least Bigger Keeper won on an eco in the previous. So now they've got that buffer of being able to invest again. You might see a couple of Pyjamas in a little bit of a compromising state to get some utility. Was this a jump shot? Oh yeah, it was.
On. That's just not okay. Naomi's activation in mid is insane as well, just the timing on that. It's crazy that sign says no shorts, and this is a really short match, so NIP breaking rules. Thunder's got an orb. Where'd she find that? Who knows? In the coffers? It has to come up big. It needs to. So much on her shoulders right now, and, well, her head's no longer there. Her body fallen to the pavement below. Orb irrecoverable. All falling apart now. Astra charging on through middle, collecting kills. Jenny R, the only one remaining. And she's just got a Desert Eagle. I think she's the one that dropped over that orb. No armor on her. And she's taken down by Astra 15-4.
Not quite championship point. Series point for NIP to make it through to that semi-final. We get to just see this again. It's going to be a very similar buy coming out of Equipa into this one, except there's no warp available. It is literally just the Deagles.
Yeah, it's not a position you want to be in. Elimination on the line. NIP now looking hot to trot. Paulie and Astra are going to be doubling up in mid, while the other three pincer onto the A bomb site up through ramp using the one-way here. Naomi gets that opening kill. Sana's playing a cheeky little off angle here, but Jenkins going to circumnavigate it, or maybe not. A leg spotted, but Naomi quick on the trigger. Paulie finds one in mid as well, so it's just Jenny R and D7 to keep big in this. Oh, well, it's just Jenny R. She's over on ramp, swings on through. Kiara takes her down, and NIP win out the series 2-0.
What a dominating performance on Vertigo. Inferno was quite touch and go. Equipa showed a lot of promise on that T side, but when it comes to Vertigo, it's just a completely different story. NIP, they come with the game plan. They come with the knowledge that they didn't have before the last time these two teams went head to head on that battleground. And look at the gulf in class, and look at the immediate short-term results. Really dominating stuff from NIP.
Yeah, I mean, what else can you say? It was 12-0, and, you know, yes, Big got some rounds back here, but this was the round we just saw there with the pistols where they forced back, they stole it away, and that was completely knocking the legs out from under Big. Any chance of a comeback ended with that round. Even if it was an incredibly long shot, it was still there. And yeah, it's a bit of an unfortunate one for Big, but hey, for NIP, they looked very good after, I guess, the second half of Inferno, and that's got to get you excited, right? Particularly with that matchup coming against Stigma Galaxy. That'll be in the semifinals. NIP beat them last time around. That one could go either way now. You start to believe that NIP could do it again.
What it does do as well, it gives a lot of belief and confidence to a very young team that are still in the early development stages of their roster. The fact that they lost so decisively last time around, they come in and it's a whitewash, it's short-term improvements, and it provides a lot of damaging results. And surely that is kind of the incentive, the kind of accelerator that you need in this team to bounce back immediately. It shows a lot of good mental resolve, given the ages of some of these players as well. They are incredibly young.
Yeah, absolutely. Really impressive stuff from NIP, taking down Big, who unfortunately now leave us at Gamers Without Borders. And we'll go to a very short break. When we come back, it'll be the desk breaking that one down.
Every day, it feels like there is a new crisis. Families displaced by violent earthquakes and wars. Warm hearts sleeping under cold blankets of stars. Lives destroyed and washed away. Families fleeing into the unknown. But look closer. See the hope everywhere. See the ones running towards disasters to help. Compassion exists all around the world. Kindness is healing wounds, bringing hope for a brighter tomorrow. look closer and see the many families like Layla's who've lived through unimaginable hardships and yet haven't given up. Please don't give up on those forced to flee. Donate now.
Progress is a race that has no end. After every finish line, another challenge awaits. How can we continue to push innovation in a sport at the forefront of technology? This is how. Discover how Aramco and the Aston Martin Formula One team aim to meet Formula One's sustainable fuel targets. Aramco, powered by How.
Welcome back to Gamers Without Borders, and the quarterfinals of our women's Counter-Strike tournament are over. 4 teams advanced into the semi-finals. That means 2 have been sent packing. And Sapphire, you know, kind of embarrassing in a way. I think that Astra heard us, because I'm never going to call her a slow roller again. I believe after about 11 rounds, she was 20-3 or something. Am I right?
Yeah, something like that. I was feeling a little guilty. I think map 1, I jinxed her. You know, we hyped it up early in the pre-show, but for good reason, because like I said, she's a big name player, and when it matters, she shows up. It also helps that she's an Opper, and CT side on Vertigo is basically Opper's paradise. So she was working that map beautifully. Just really nice performance from her.
It was, I believe. What do you think there was like any kind of turning point in that match, Steph? I feel like it was incredibly one-sided throughout. It looked like Big were starting to try to find their feet to clamber onto something, and it kind of evaporated through their fingers, didn't it?
Yeah, they didn't really give themselves enough breathing room to really be able to come back into this map, you know, and it feels like we never lost the Inferno momentum. Astra's pistol round was probably the main point in this game to keep Nip's momentum alive. She was able to get a triple kill, and the way that it happened was really demoralizing for Big, and it seems like they just never recovered. I don't think they used their pauses really well throughout the whole BO3, if I'm gonna be honest with y'all, and so unfortunately they're not able to really stop the bleeding. And on the Nip side, it really feels like they have something to prove after their losses.
Well, an absolutely outstanding performance from NIP. And speaking of NIP, we are joined by Kiara from Ninjas in Pyjamas. Congratulations on your victory. You're going to be competing in tomorrow's semi-finals, and you guys must be feeling extremely confident after that performance, right?
Yeah, we do. It feels really good to win against Big because we lost against them, obviously, last time. And we remembered how they played, so it was easier this time to play against them.
Yeah, I have to ask you, congratulations on the win. It was really dominant. Like, when you say that it was easier, did you adapt or did you do less mistakes? Like, what was the game plan coming into this matchup?
I think we did like less mistakes, and like we all remembered, you know, how they played. They're very aggressive players, I feel like. And I think we all just had that in our mind, and I don't know, we just played very well together, did less mistakes. It was just good for us.
Congratulations, Kiara. Obviously, next up, you're going to have Nigma Galaxy. And NIP is the only team, I don't even know, years, I feel like, that has taken a series off Nigma Galaxy. So how are you going to do it again tomorrow? What's the secret?
Well, we're going to just prepare very well, like watch their demos, see what they do, and just not make mistakes and do our best, like last time.
That is what we like to hear. Preparation is key, of course. Kiara, thank you so much from us here at the studio and for the fans at home. Best of luck tomorrow in your semi-final against Nigma Galaxy. Oh, that performance from NIP, I've got to say, I mean, it makes me worry for Nigma Galaxy, Steph. I mean, I know that Lucy already mentioned it before she signed out. Doesn't it make you a little bit worried for them?
Yeah, but at the same time, it's still Nigma Galaxy, right? It's just what we're gonna need for this matchup to be as good as it was in the past. We're gonna need a NIP that showed up like today, and we're gonna need a little bit of a shaky Nigma Galaxy, and so that we can have a really close best of 3. Because, you know, if you're the top team, you can have an off day, but are you gonna have an off year versus the same team over and over? I don't know. We'll see if NIP is able to do it again.
I mean, a display right here on our screens of NIP being the unstoppable force that they were during this second quarterfinal of Gamers Without Borders. I feel like they definitely asserted themselves when it came to this kind of idea of the rematch that we had in our minds, right, Sapphire?
Yeah, they played with a lot of confidence here. When Kiara said it herself, like when you lose, you have a little more to learn, and so they learned from that last series, and the results show here in the scores.
Head-to-head was great. I love Naomi versus Naomi. That's how good she is in the game.
You stole it right out of my mouth. I was literally just about to say that. You beat me to it. Now, Steph, I actually have an image of you in my mind of you screaming at the monitor for Big to pause, and then they finally did.
Yeah.
I think 8-0. Did you breathe a sigh of relief for them, or, you know, in your mind, it was just too late? It was too far gone?
It was too late, and B-Dog called it. I think that it was so late, and it's surprising because they have a great coach. Like Heather mentioned it right before this map, how they are supported by really experienced players. So for me, if you're losing 5-0, there's really absolutely no reason why you're not taking your first pause there if you have 4 left in your pocket. So, like, we have to call these team outs today. I don't think anyone did a good job at breaking the momentums and working with the economy and the pacing of the nerves, but it might just be people are taking it a little bit lightly because it's, you know, it's a tournament for charity. Who knows, but there's still 2.5 million on the line, and I would want to be the team being able to bring the most money for charity.
You had your MVPs on the screen, brought to you by Savvy just then, and I have to say that average damage per round brought to you, that average damage per round by Naomi was absolutely outrageous, 111.6. Did you see that switched cameras there? Bam, bam. I loved it. That was absolutely amazing. So that's Enigma Galaxy and Na'Vi Javelins both enter the discussion tomorrow in our semi-finals. Those matchups are going to be absolutely crazy. Given the performances that we've seen so far up to this point, here's your playoff bracket that you can see. 2 O's today. I mean, what dominating performances, Sapphire?
Yeah, I'm not sure we expected that necessarily. I thought these would be a little more competitive, but that actually sets us up for really exciting matches tomorrow, because I think tomorrow is where we thought we'd see some of the dominant performances, but Nip is looking really good. 9 Pandas was really, really clean. So, you know, they might make those matches competitive against Nigma and Na'Vi.
Well, for you viewers at home, in case you're wondering, 9 Pandas Phyllis versus Na'Vi Javelins will be your first match of the day, followed by Enigma Galaxy versus Ninjas in Pyjamas, who we saw put up that outrageous performance literally moments ago. Well, having said that, it is time to wrap up the show. Thank you so much to Miss Harvey, Sapphire, Lucy, B-Dog, Tom, and Nari Mizuki for all of your hard work today. It really has been phenomenal to work with you all for the first time. I've enjoyed it so much. Production team, you've been absolutely incredible. This studio, everything that you've done to create this incredible charity tournament has been brilliant from the ground up. And thank you to all of you at home for watching, for supporting your favorite teams. All of this money and all of this, you know, this entire show is going towards a good cause for humanitarian aid all over the world. Now, tomorrow we are going to have our semi-finals. And by the end of tomorrow, we'll have our 2 grand finalists who are going to battle it out for that $2.5 million prize pool. You are not going to want to miss it. My name is Banks, and I'll see you tomorrow.